Hi, it's Lucy, and today I'm here to do the mid-year book freakout tag and also a few questions from the mid-year check-in tag. For the last 2 years, I've been combining the mid-year book freakout tag and the mid-year check-in tag. This year I'll be doing the same. The mid-year book freakout tag was created by Ellie Jane and Chami, and the mid-year check-in tag was created by Harriet Rosie and Dane Reads, and I will leave all that information in the description box down below. Just for reference, I don't include rereads in this tag. I don't think I've really reread that many books this year, but in case anyone was wondering. And I also try not to repeat books in this tag, so if I answered one book for another question, it might also apply to another question, but I will use a different book just because I'm trying to get as many books as possible in here. How many books have we read so far this year? At the time of filming this, it is exactly 50. By the time this video goes up, it could be more. But yeah, I'm doing pretty great. My Goodreads goal is 100 books, and I'm exactly halfway through during the mid-year book freakout tag. Although, technically, this is not the middle of the year. The exact middle of the year is July 2nd, and everyone's been doing this video all of June, and that is not the middle of the year, okay? Yeah, I will die on this hill, even though I am also doing it during June, but I have to go with the trend and everyone's doing it in June, so I have to do it then or else I'm going to be late, even though I'm technically already late because everyone started doing it at the beginning of June, which is way off of the midpoint of the year. But I digress. We'll move on to the next question. The best book you've read so far in 2020? When the Moon Was Ours by Anna Marie McLemore. I believed that their writing was for me, and then I read this book and I was correct. Their writing is for me. This is one of 2 5 stars that I gave this year, which is another thing that I really need to make a video about how I'm not enjoying books anymore, but that's a whole other discussion. But yeah, this is the best book of the year. This is a magical realism book. It's about a girl and a guy, and the guy is a trans boy. Nobody knows that he's trans. Everyone sees him as a boy already. His family moves to the town for that, but then there is a chance that a secret could get out, and it involves the girl that he's in love with, and also the boy paints moons and the girl has roses growing from her wrist. I'm doing a horrible job of explaining this. It's really a book you just have to read. Best sequel you've read so far in 2020? I've only read 4 so far this year, so I'm really not doing that great on completing series, but it is what it is. So of those 4, I think the best one is probably The Hand on the Wall by Maureen Johnson. I just thought it was a really good end to the series, even though I've since found out that Maureen Johnson is actually planning a 4th book in the series, although I'm kind of okay with it, even though I don't like continuation of series because, one, it's pretty soon after the conclusion of the other one. Usually when authors do this, it's literally years down the line, and also because it is a mystery series and this follows a new mystery, so it doesn't feel as weird. And I also do enjoy Stevie as a character, so we'll see where that goes. New release you haven't read yet but want to? A Phoenix First Must Burn by Patrice Caldwell, or edited by Patrice Caldwell. This is an anthology series that everyone is talking about, or everyone was talking about when it got released in March, but yeah, I still haven't read it. It has so many heavy hitter authors as part of it, and I'm super excited to read it. The heavy hitters are such as Elizabeth Acevedo, Danielle Clayton, Ibby Zaboy, Ella McKinney, Justina Ireland, and a bunch of other authors who you might not have heard of as much. But yeah, I have been super excited to read this. I just haven't yet. Most anticipated release for the second half of the year. So I had to do some research because I don't normally do my rest of the year anticipated releases until later on in the year because I'm lazy. So I'm going with Legendborn by Tracy Dion for this question. This is described as having the allure of City of Bones with a southern black girl magic twist, and also it is somehow a King Arthur retelling. I don't really know a lot about King Arthur, and honestly, at least 60% of my excitement for this book is the cover, because look at it. I don't know what side I'm going to put it on, but look at it. But also I am excited for the synopsis. If you've been around for a while, you'll be like, but I thought you didn't like Cassandra Clare books, Lucy, and I don't. I don't like City of Bones. The majority of my dislike for it has to do with execution rather than the premise, and the thing that's shared between them is that it has like a similar starting point of a person like discovering a magical world like that's like right next to them. But yeah, so that part intrigues me. I just didn't like City of Bones execution, and hopefully this execution is much better. And also, that cover cannot disappoint me, okay? Biggest disappointment. My biggest disappointment of 2020 so far is Children of Virtue and Vengeance by Tomi Adeyemi. I did a whole reading vlog on this book, so if you want to hear more of my thoughts, you can always check that video out. But this is the second book in the Children of Blood and Bone series. Is that what the series is called? Legend of Orisha trilogy, maybe is what it's called. But yeah, I did not enjoy this nearly as much as I liked the first book. Biggest surprise? A Match Made in Mendi by Nandini Bajpai. I read this last month, 2 months ago, a few months ago, oh no. But I read it during the stay home reading rush, so I guess 2 months ago now. But yeah, I read it during the stay home reading rush, so you can always check out those vlogs. I did daily vlogs for that readathon in case you're interested. But yeah, this I'm including as my biggest surprise because I gave it 4.5 stars and I did not expect to enjoy it so much. It was just such a fun and enjoyable read that, yeah, it surprised me how much I liked it. Not because I expected it to be bad, but I thought it would be like 3.5, 4 stars, but I ended up giving it 4.5. And this follows a girl who comes from a long line of matchmakers and she wants nothing to do with it. But when she accidentally makes a match between her cousin and someone else, she decides to roll with it. And along with her brother and best friend, they start a matchmaking app for their school. And it's kind of about the hijinks that ensue about that. It has like a lot of cultural references because it is Indian, and we like see mentions of her culture, mentions of her religion. And I just thought it was all well incorporated and so nice to read. Favorite new author, this can be debut or new to you. So this is going to be new to me because her book debuted last year, I think. I read her debut book, I Want to Be Where You Are, earlier this year, I think in February, and I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed it so much, I was immediately like, oh, I should look up this author's like next book because I think I'm gonna really enjoy it. I Want to Be Where You Are was just like the right mix of everything that I like in a contemporary, and it has a super cute romance, and I am looking for like more contemporary stories like about, not like me, but like it featured like a regular Black girl who was like working to be a ballerina. It was like a regular story, like nothing super big happened to her, and I really like slow, quiet stories like that. And it was just about her trying to make her dreams come true, and I really enjoyed that. And I also now have her second book, Now That I Found You. This comes out, the date on this is wrong. I think sometime in August, I was able to win an ARC, and yeah, I was really excited to read more of her books, and so I was able to get an ARC, and yeah. What genre have you read the most this year? To my surprise, the answer is fantasy, which is never the answer. Usually fantasy is my second most read genre and number one is contemporary, but fantasy is actually winning by like a lot. According to the spreadsheet that I have, I've read 17 fantasy books and 8 contemporaries. I know that I think this is a little bit inflated because I just read all of those Lumberjanes graphic novels and that was like 8 things or something like that, but still it's a lot. Book that made you cry, The Stars and the Blackness Between Them by Junauda Petrus. This follows 2 Black girls. One is from Trinidad and one is from Minneapolis, and the girl from Trinidad ends up coming to America and they meet and kind of fall in love. However, the girl who's like from America ends up having a terrible illness. There is a trigger warning for that because it is a terminal illness. Obviously with the synopsis like that, I had to, tear up a little bit. I never really cry, but I definitely like tear up. And this was a book that did that. It's about like acceptance and everything because the girl who comes from Trinidad is kicked out by her mom for being gay. And yeah, it's just so much. Book that made you happy. I just talked about this, but the Lumberjanes graphic novels, I'm talking about all of them collectively, just reading about some girls having fun and enjoying their life and like just being themselves. It just makes me so happy. Most beautiful book that you've bought so far this year. So I can't remember any book that I've bought before I came to my sister's house, and I don't have them anyway. So I'm just going with these books. I have already mentioned this, so I'm gonna do 2 because I do want to spotlight this. I have already mentioned A Phoenix First Must Burn. Look at the cover, look at it. I think it's gorgeous, the way it feels. It's just, look at it. And is All Boys Aren't Blue. Once again, look at the colors, look at that like straight, not straight on, but like just his full face, and I like how it's like painted. I think it looks so good. Favorite video you have done so far this year? I did a video where I read like an INFP. I did put a lot of work into that, especially like researching and thinking about it, and I was just so excited about that video idea. I think that's my favorite video I've done so far, and I really haven't done that many like reading challenges kind of things, and so that's the first one that I did this year. I am planning to do more during the rest of the year, but we'll see how life goes. That'll be linked down below and in the cards if you haven't seen it already. What books do you need to read by the end of the year? As always, all of them. But specifically my 2020 TBR. If you haven't seen that video, it will be linked down below and in the cards. But yeah, I listed out 12 books that I wanted to read this year, and I think I've only read 3 or 4 of them. I don't know if I'm going to do a mid-year goals video because I really have not been paying attention to my goals. So we'll see how I'm thinking about that. But yeah, I do need to read all those books. I'm going to do my darndest. And yeah, those are all the questions I have to answer for this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up. If you haven't already, subscribe to my channel because I make more videos where I talk about books. In the comments down below, let me know what is your favorite book that you've read so far this year, and anything else you have to say about the books that I mentioned in this video. All my social media is linked down below, as well as Black Lives Matter resources will be linked down below. And I have my social media and also my social media. Did I say my social media? I don't know what I'm saying anymore. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in my next video. Bye.